our 7th episode, and we are excited to have another episode with Nas and Jamie here today, and they are going to just share some knowledge and gems, and just talk to us about their experience and the company that they run, and also hopefully, we walk away today with gaining a lot from them and learning a lot from them. So like I said, this is a space for us. Gentlemen, we're very honored to have you here. There's a lot of things happening right now in this world, in this country, as of today. Yeah. Let's just start with what happened today. History was made today, right? Before we get into, work, let's talk about how you guys, what's your response to the election, the historic election, and we finally got the result today, in which we know Biden won, and then we have had the first woman vice president, not only one,
black
the
woman,
first black woman, the first woman, the first black woman. But I want to hear from both of you guys, given the current climate right now, what is your response to today's historic events? As a black person.
I'm James, this is Nas, 6ix 8ight. My response was really a sigh of relief. I feel like for the last 5 years, it's like we were in an animated series or something. It was like tune in to see what happens next. I feel like Dragon Ball Z or something, and it's like, okay, I can finally exhale at least a little bit. It's some type of normalcy, and it was also eye opening to see how close the race is too. Mm-hmm. So it's like I feel a little safer, but then still aware. Mm-hmm. So that's what we.
I concur with everything that he said. It brings more pride for the fact that she's also an HBCU grad. We both graduated from Morehouse. That's how we got the name 6ix 8ight, 6ix 8ight. But yeah, like he said, it's a great time, but at the same time, I'm also Trump was able to wake us up a little bit, and by him waking us up, he made us mobilize and start to do stuff and work together and all that. So I just hope that doesn't change now that Biden's in office and we go back to what we used to be.
Right. Gentlemen, Toby, do you want to share your response?
I agree with everything he said. So just for the most part, I'm a bit at ease. But we still have a couple more months before he's in office. So there's a couple of things that could still change while still in office, but once that transition is made, there's better relief and more progress we can make.
No, absolutely. And I think one thing that I would just say, I want to go back to Nat's point about this idea of civic engagement. And I think when Obama became president, we sort of become passive, and there was a lack of civic engagement as a result of Trump. And we realized we can't just take our civic duty for granted. People actually show up to vote. And now we believe in order to be part of the change, you really have to be part of. You really have to exercise your civic duty, your right to vote. And because when you vote, your voice will be heard. And I think this is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, I mean, I learned, I'm not going to act like I wasn't aware of the election process before, but I probably learned more about the election process during this election than any other time. The ins and outs and how different things work. And it was funny, you would tell yourself you're not going to look at your phone, but then you always turn it back to CNN or something like that, just to get updates and really understand. And it was the first time that I felt like people actually felt like they vote counted.
Yes.
I completely agree with that. A lot of times in the past, I felt like my voice wasn't heard or my vote didn't count, especially with me being from Georgia. Even this particular race, I was like, Georgia's gonna go red anyway, but I'm still gonna vote just because I was like voting because of the history that our ancestors are going through, but I didn't really think it was gonna make a difference. Then I mean, it's not official yet, but to like see Georgia really go blue and to see like my county is blue, I was like, yeah, like look at us, like the world look at us, like so yeah.
Right, and I think there's just like Jamie, to go to your point too. There's a lot of this sense of awareness, right? Being aware of that you could be part of change. So in that aspect, we have the COVID that came out, right? First of all, I just wanted to, on the personal level, how do you guys been sort of like managing through this COVID? In addition to that, COVID has also opened up a huge opportunities for us as a black folks, and especially like black business owners, also entrepreneurs. And we're seeing a lot of even like businesses like Bank of America, for example, they're actually putting in money to actually invest. And you guys both went to HBCU, you're seeing a lot of money being poured into that. So there's a lot of opportunity now opening up, and I'm excited to see like who is going to be able to really take advantage of this moment to really become part of this like movement, not just socially but also economically. But what do you guys thought on how COVID has impacted you personally, but also like what are your thoughts on like how COVID has created some sort of opportunity for us?
So before we get to that, I think it's better to kind of have a better timeline. So let's just start from how your business or your life has been pre-COVID, and then transition into how it has been post-COVID or during COVID.
So pre-COVID is still kind of our reference frame for normalcy. It was get up, go in the morning, take care of your errands, run, do this and that. It was like freedom. Now, going into March, April, we were like on lockdown, right? Essentially, that. I would say I was fearful, like just having pretty much, we had no plan. We still don't really have a plan. Come on, Joe Biden, like, so we didn't have a plan going forth. So I was just in the house really, like besides grocery shopping. I was fortunate to still be employed, so I do 6ix 8ight, and I'm also employed outside of this venture that we're speaking on today. So I was very fortunate, but it was difficult. It was difficult, like being expected to continue working and be productive, and really have some intellectual, like, being able to produce at an intellectual capacity. It was difficult. Now I feel like I've settled in a little bit more. I'm also an introvert, so being at home, it didn't really bother me too much. But the restrictions that really threw me off. But even now, I feel like we've kind of slackened on our restrictions, and we see the results of that with spikes in the numbers and whatnot. So. Now I feel a little more comfortable, but still hesitant to just be out and about, especially in the dealings that we do with 6ix 8ight. We're really about people coming together. Like that's one of our main motivators. Our drive is to bring people together. So we've really been trying to figure out different ways to bring people together. I guess we can get into that a little bit later.
For me, I look at COVID as like a gift and a curse, just all around. I mean, worldview, a gift and a curse because, I mean, the world just stopped. And when the world stopped, we were able to, that's when, George Floyd and everything, the world saw that. And then that's when Black lives actually mattered, supposedly. So I mean, that's why I say it's like good and bad with that. As far as with work, we had plans this year, but plans change, and it's just about working through it. Like it was also a gift for this, in the sense that we were able to like really just stop, pause, reflect, get yourself together, plan, do different businesses. It challenges you to kind of like think outside the box a little bit more and come up with different things and have it be more strategic and have different type of plans as far as the future, and just trying to find, like you said, different ways to bring people together, as safe as possible. We know it's out here. We're not trying to do anything like how Atlanta is or anything right now. But at the same time, we still want to try to bring different groups of people together and, do it the right way, I guess. I don't know.
So, no, that's great, guys. So right now, can you share with us exactly what do you guys do, and exactly, and like I know you talk a lot about change and adjustment. How has COVID like allowed you to adapt to the new change? But like talk to our view about like what is your company, what you guys do, and what are you doing now as a result of like COVID? Because we still live in the COVID world, and how you guys thriving in this aspect.
I'll let Nas take this one.
I was actually like looking forward to you doing it. 6ix 8ight is it's an experiential marketing company that specializes in events and brand consultancy. And like I said, it was about bringing people together, building experiences. So it's like, how do we build that experience and have people feel it in a different type of way? Everything is about telling the story, creating memories, and that is marketing, that is branding. How can you tell this story in a different type of way to make people listen? How do you connect with people? And we are good at finding ways to connect with our audience and have them connect with other like-minded individuals as well. And out of nowhere, you kind of like build a family and a network, and our network becomes their network, and their network becomes and so, and you want to?
No, you did a good job. You did have a. What was the second part of your question? You were like, how did we adapt? So adapt. We've been trying to still, we're still working on the solution to that, but we've been trying to with the restrictions in place. We've been trying to adapt with those restrictions. So we've been finding. Well, I'll credit Nas with that. Nas is like to really get out there in the streets. He's like the go-getter. So I like to play around and say it's like he's the yes man, I'm the no man. Like, but yeah. So Nas has done a great job of going out and finding like outdoor spaces and places that are more wide open. And then we've like purchased masks and hand sanitizer. So when we do events, like we make sure that people are in a situation where they feel comfortable. If you want to still get out the house, we want to provide that option.
I mean, that's even how like 6ix 8ight even started, just providing a different type of option. Instead of, we felt like a lot of our demographic felt like they had to go to DC, New York, and other places for events or experiences that they would enjoy, and we know that's still going to happen. However, here's an option for you guys in Philly, and then we're also looking at different innovative ways to bring people together, whether it's virtually or in person and stuff like that. It's a lot of different things in the works, but at the same time, money's also a situation as well. So it's trying to find that balance like everything else in life, and God knows best, so what I mean. We'll figure it out.
Can you kind of highlight a little bit how you two connect and what kind of inspired y'all and drove y'all to create this company?
You want to tell the story?
You sound more excited.
Before you start, Jimmy, how's the sound? The sound is good? Folks, let us know if the sound is good. If we need to make any adjustment in terms of the sound, so but let us know about that. Jamie, back to you.
Well, so Nas kind of let the cat out the bag a little bit earlier. So a lot of people, their first question for us is like, okay, the name is 6ix 8ight. They see it on flyers, they may see it on Instagram, on our website, or whatever. They're like, okay, what is 6ix 8ight? 6ix 8ight is like a moniker that we came up with. When we started a company, we wanted something to represent us, and we didn't want just some empty name that sound cool. So we really thought about what we identified with. So 6ix 8ight actually comes from 6 being Nas, 8 being me. We both graduated from Morehouse College. Nas in 2006, myself in 2008. So
6ix 8ight. But the funny thing is, like, we didn't really know each other like that in college. We knew a lot of the same people. You know, probably seen each other out, but it wasn't like, you know, one of those type of things. How we linked up in Philly, basically it was some type of, I say it was a happy hour, Spell House happy hour, Spell House, Morehouse Spelman, you know, alumni meetup type of situation. And we just happened to just like kick it and just start talking or whatever. And then he was just like, he randomly just invited me to, we were talking, he randomly invited me to his house for a cookout. And I was just like, and I don't know what made me go, and he's like, I don't know what made me ask you. He's like, I didn't think he was gonna show up, and I showed up, and then ever since then we just was like tight, and the company didn't start right away. I actually moved back down to Atlanta, and he hit me up and was just like,
the company didn't start till maybe like 2 years, 2.5 years later maybe.
And he hit me up like, yo Nas, like I think we should do something up here, like. Let's do like a dinner party or something, like an R&B dinner party. You know, can you see what you can make happen? I see what I can make happen. And let's see what happens. And we did it. It was in November. Yeah, like around this time actually, like November. It just wasn't 75 degrees. It was snowing. It was crazy. And we did it, and it was a crazy good time. Packed it out, and people were just like, hey, so when's the next one? What's going on for next week? And we like, next week? Like, I'm like, I got a flight. But so then we ended up doing one that next week. Actually like putting it together thanks to the homie Gabe. He helped us with that, and it was at Bar Rosa downtown. And Colin was a part of that. It was one of my favorite joints to this day. It was just pure, good vibes, energy.
Organic.
Or very organic. And we were just like, from there it was like, we might have something. And so after me going back and forth for Atlanta, I was just like, let's just really get us a run and move back to Philly. And 5 years later.
Still here. One key thing that y'all said was it was organic. So I think that's pretty key when you're growing a company, or at that point in the moment y'all didn't think you were growing a company. What do you think played a part for it to be so natural? And you said your first event y'all packed it out. So
because it's just like any other event that we try to do. It's family, friends of friends. And it's word of mouth. A lot of it is word of mouth. That's how we really have been able to build our network. And we try to make it to the point where everybody feels comfortable, and really building that experience. So from the lighting to the staff to the security, like we pay attention to all of that, and just trying to create these different experiences and memories that you can share with friends and family, and it's more than just a party, like, you know what I'm saying? So, that's, yeah.
And like, I hear a lot of you guys talking about creating this experience, but creating like networking event. But the point of what you do, your event bring people together, and out of that, people walk away with so much. And so tell me like what's the audience right now? How many people usually like will attend you guys' event, and what's the demographic? Is it like black and brown people? Or is it like is this the event for anybody who come?
It's for anyone, but we are our core demographic is black and brown, ages between 24 to 33, and young professionals like your young professionals, grad students, and women actually. We have more women than men, and we take pride in that, and that's one of the things that we also like try to do. You know, consult with a lot of different type of women. That's why we are cognizant of what we put on the flyer, the information, the type of images that we put out there, how we promote. And one of the good things that we also did was Jamie, his writing skills. when we first started out with the email blast, is different than just like, come on out, here's the information, boom. It's like he does these, I don't know, these write-ups that are like, that's real different. And actually people will be like, yo, I actually enjoy reading y'all write-ups for y'all events. Like they go in there. Like, so.
It's just so, what's so interesting to me is people will then look at your event, they just look at it like, I'm here to have fun, or this is a nice event. But sometimes people walk us through like the steps and the amount of work that you guys put in, because there's actually a set of skills here that you guys are applying every time to make sure like this event is an event where everyone will be able to enjoy themselves. So what are those skills that you guys are putting into each event that's making sure like your event is actually exceeding expectations, and like people who come to your event are walking away satisfied? Like,
I won't say that we have a checklist that we go down. We don't have like maybe we do have a mental checklist, but there's no physical checklist. But I feel like the first question, especially for our successful events, the first question that we're always answering is this something that we want to go to? Are we just throwing something out there, see what sticks, just trying to grab money, or is this something like, no, would I actually spend my money, spend my Saturday night, my Friday night, would I attend this event? That's where we usually start. Then also, as Nas said earlier, we consult with people, and some of our like main constituents, like you said, are women of color. So also shout out to Brittany. Brittany is a friend of ours. We were consulting her all the time, and we actually brought her into 6ix 8ight, so she's part of the team as well. So yeah, we have a consultant / president on hand. Yeah, and then we also try to, like Nas was saying, we try to get outside the box. We try to use some atypical spaces. People get tired of going to the same places all the time, so we try to always bring something new, funky.
Which is a gift and a curse in itself.
That is, yeah, it is. But yeah.
I mean, and the reason why I say that's a gift and a curse is because it's hard to find new venues and everything, especially in the city, for black and brown folk. And that's a major issue, because, you know, when we go into places, we let them know like this is for a majority of black and brown people. So we expect a certain type of service. We don't want anyone feeling any type of way. I tell this often, but when I used to work at a restaurant as like a assistant manager at like Ruby Tuesdays downtown, and my GM, as I was getting into the whole management and everything, he was like, he said something that stuck with me. He was like, when you're managing a restaurant, doing an event or something like that, treat it like it's your home. Like, this is, like, if you're having a house party or a house soiree or event at your home, like, if you see a napkin on the ground, pick it up. You know, you always checking on people, making sure like they're enjoying themselves. Everything is fine and everything like that. And with every event, that's the type of mindset. So, like I said, we're stickler on like the details, you know, as far as from lighting to staffing to, like I said, from the flyers to checking in with people, like, you know,
like what's even on the menu.
Yeah, what's even on the yeah, exactly. The pricing on the menus and the drink specials and negotiating, you know, different contracts with the setting expectations. That's the other thing. When we negotiate the different terms and everything like that with the venues is setting those type of expectations. What we expect, what they expect and everything. And it's about building relationships. Mm-hmm. So it's about us building a relationship with the venue building a relationship with the guests as well, and the guests building a relationship with us, you know? So that is, to me, that is good business. And that's why I feel as though people trust us. Mm-hmm. You know, they build that trust with us and know that, you know, if anything else, we're not gonna have them somewhere that they're not safe. We're not gonna do anything that's real janky. We're not trying to get over on them. You know, at times we're so focused on the experience that we don't profit as much from what we do. But at the same time, it's like we're thinking about the bigger picture, just creating that, building those experiences and everything, and build it to the point where you start getting noticed and being able to do something bigger, and certain things will actually like break, like You Me R&B. That's one of our biggest events that started 4 years ago at a spot where it only held like about 75 people, and then now we've done 1,500 to 2,000 people for this event. So, you know, and just being able to build that and setting certain expectations.
What do you believe is some of the hardest lesson to get to this point?
I'm gonna ponder on that.
I mean, one of the bigger wake up calls was something that everybody just realized as far as how I don't want to say racist the city can be, but we don't have as many opportunities. Would that be? Yeah, opportunities, options. Yeah, when it comes to like venues and working with different people, and you know, you say it's a black and brown crowd, then you know certain places want to. So what is your dress code and all this other? I'm like that factors into your attitude and how you act and everything, and that's also one of the reasons why a lot of times, even in, you know, doing negotiations and stuff like that, or meeting with certain venues, I like to go in personally, because I feel like through an email, you know, you can't really connect with someone. Like I said, it's about connection, and so we sit down and actually be able to connect with people, and you know, with him being in grad school and then getting his doctorate and stuff, that's one of the things I was able to also use as a benefit. Like, you know, my business partner, whether he was there or not, being able to say like, he's at Drexel getting his second master's, and then he eventually got his PhD. And, you know, being able to say that, and it's like, oh well, y'all a little bit different. Like, let me give you guys a shot. Like, right. And so I think that was like one of the biggest wake up calls.
Right. So now, thank you so much for sharing it, because I think that's really important. Jamie, talk to us about this. Why do you have to like tell folks that you have a PhD in order for them to feel like they have to open up this doors for you or opportunities? And like, you know, Nas talk about in the city, somehow these are not opportunity. Because for me, that make me think like not only that you guys are trying to create a space for our black and brown folk, but you're also paving the way here. You're changing the expectation. You're changing people's like the view of us. But there's still this sense that when you gotta go through your credential in order for people to take you seriously. What's up with that?
We're one of the good ones.
Yeah. So it's kind of corny, actually. It's corny that you have to like be like blah. I can do. I'm puffing my chest out. and saying I did all this. So I don't really particularly care for that, but then I also realize like that's the world that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
So even outside of race, like in a business setting, you have to do that regardless. The world that we live in is always about what can you do for me. So I have to be able to tell you like what am I able to produce, what am I about for to gain that access and to gain respect from people. So it's annoying in a certain regard, but then it's also just I would say kind of humbling as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and to be quite honest, like I use it more than he does, but at the same time, it's like I was reading something and it's a part of like getting someone's attention. You know, going in there saying whatever you say, it's like heard this before. You know, but when you say, and then when you're also letting people know, like, no, we're dealing with people that have careers, not just a job. They have something to lose, you know, and that resonates with them a little bit differently than just saying like, oh, I want to just come in here and do a party. And then it's like we tell them the vision and have them see it from entry to exit, how this looks to us and how this can be beneficial for them and so forth and so on. And talk about building that relationship. So, you know, even with a lot of the people that we've done business with in the past, like we still have those relationships with them, you know, so it's bigger than just, you know, just.
No, it's actually bigger, you know.
So we got a question from one of our guests. You might answer that real quick. Shout out to Noni on the chat. So she wants to know, how do you guys think about expanding outside of events? Is that something that you'd be interested in at all?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, we work with different brands, especially like different startups and stuff like that. From experience to we're a marketing company, you know, at the end of the day, marketing and branding. So it's just events is our breadwinner, like, you know, that main thing. But, you know, we're using that as that initial platform to then be able to try to go different directions from there. But it was just something that we saw that.
Yeah, I look at it kind of as we're a marketing and we're a branding, but we are kind of our main client. We are our main client. Other people come to us. Yes, we're open for business as well. Yeah.
So it just sounds to me that people are the driver of what you guys do, and you also focus a lot on like getting feedback from people who attend your event. So talk to us about like what are some things that you're hearing from like the people who attend your event? What exactly are they looking for? What do they want?
They don't know what they want. Yeah, I mean, everybody wants like a little bit of everything, and the funny thing is sometimes certain people that tell you like they want this and this and this and that, the next thing you do it, they're the ones that don't even show up. Like, you know, so it's just it's trying to find that balance, you know, and especially when this demographic is different. Philly is different as a whole. The Philly market is different from any other market. It's very cliquish. It's very finicky. It's one of those type of things that people are willing to do more outside the city. They'll go up to New York, DC, and spend this and be willing to do all that. And then they're like, well, this is Philly. I'm not spending this. I'm not doing this. Like it's a blue collar city. So it's like even if you come from a different city and you're used to a certain type of way, you get into those type of habits and everything. So it's very different. But we just, like you said, we just try to think of different stuff that we would want to do. And one of the other things that we want to get into is like from going on hikes and bike rides and different things like that. Just different type of experiences to bring people together. You know, and so those are the type of things that we're looking to do. Is once again one of the other things that restrict us at times is a financial type of thing, like being able to figure out like what are people willing to pay for, you know, and have it in a way that we're not losing money either.
So that kind of goes back to a question you asked, maybe 4 or 5 questions ago. So I'm done pondering now. I'm done pondering. So I do feel like one of our hardest lessons learned, at least for me, was listen to people. So I feel like Nas was half right and half wrong a little bit when he said people don't know what they want. Like, people don't actively know what they want sometimes, but then if you listen to them, even if you agree, disagree, listen to them, and they say, oh, this restaurant sucked, or this event was terrible, but then, so what was wrong? You didn't like the venue, the food was bad, the DJ was bad. No, they had me in line for too long. So once you got inside, everything was cool. Yeah, but your disposition was that you were in line outside in the cold for 40 minutes. So that ruined the event for you. So like, you gotta listen to people. Yeah. So just learning the ins and outs like that, and then actually taking the information that you learn and take that knowledge and like implement a solution. Yeah.
So based off of this, what keeps y'all motivated in the hard times to continue this venture?
I mean, for me, I love what I do. Like, it's one of those type of relationships that I have with it that you know, you love to hate it, but at the same time, it's like right now I'm my own boss, you know, and I'm able to like change somebody, affect people in a different type of way. It's crazy when like somebody can be like, yo, I had a hell of a week and all this other stuff, and then they go to an event and be like, yo, thank you for this.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and during COVID, you know, I've had people come up to me or like hit me up and be like, yo, like, I miss what you guys do. Thank you for what you guys do. You know what I'm saying? And that in itself, like, you know, just being able to really be able to affect people, like, who can ask for anything else?
Right, and Nas, thank you for sharing that, because what you're sort of talking about impact, right? And I think this is the reason why we created the Pepper Soup Talk Show, in which like we want great folks like you to come on this space to share like the impact, the positive impact our Black and brown folks are making in our community. Like usually, because that's like something like, especially in Philly, there's this sense of like there's so much negative narrative that's drive what Philly is. So we both are sort of like changing that narrative right now, but it's also like we out here. We actually making impact. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you might see me on the street, but it's all about, like you said, talking to people. It's all about building relationship. And it's like also you said, like now, like people will see you guys out there, but you have so much power because of the influence that you have on people, and thank you so much for sharing that. And it's just crazy to me that you started as just like an event, and you wasn't expecting that you will have that much influence in the community. But you guys are like the influencer. You are like, you know, there might be like a limited like opportunity with these club settings and all of that, but at the end of the day, you carry the people. If you carry the people, the sky is the limit. You know what I mean? So, so much like love and respect for what you do.
Thank you.
And trust me, Philly is not easy to do it, but the future. What do you guys think about what you're doing now and the future of Philly? Because Philly's going through so much changes right now.
I personally feel like the future's bright. Like, you know, it's what you make it. You know, I mean, we can go down a list of things that's going bad for the city, but there's a lot more people coming. There's a lot more things being built. There's a buzz even in the city, and then with the election and everything like that, it's like I'm even looking at 2021 and. Actually the rest of 2020, like being able to start some type of momentum into next year, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like there's some young people out here that's wanting to do more stuff, wanting to be creative, you know, running ideas off of each other, and you know, and just being able to talk to them that re-energizes me as well. And yeah, it's a lot of things out here that we can be doing, and we just want to, leave some type of mark. And go ahead, I'll let you.
One thing that I'm happy to see is even with a lot of our colleagues, like, and Nas kind of alluded to just now. I feel like we're a lot more mindful of ownership. So like I said, a lot of our colleagues are dipping and dabbling in their own companies, also just real estate. So we're a lot more mindful about, like, not just being consumers, not just always trying to show what's in our pocket. Like, no, hold on to that. There's a bigger picture. So I feel like a lot more people we're a lot more cognizant of the greater things, the greater good, and trying to really build wealth, and also sharing information. Like, I feel like a lot I won't say before, we're still transforming, but a lot of times I feel like we want to hoard information. We don't want to give somebody else a leg up to get over and be like, no, like, how about we share and work together?
And I was about to, build off of that, like, changing the narrative. Philly has been known as, like, that crab in the barrel, having that mentality. And for us, we just wanted to change that narrative as well. Like, work with different type of people, and, bring different type of companies together. And like you said, have these different type of conversations and stuff like that as well.
Right. And I just think, like, what's so interesting about which, because Philadelphia or the state of Pennsylvania is composed of so many, like, institutions. Like, you have some of the most powerful, like, colleges here in the city, and some of these folks will come here, they will just get what they need, and they will go either to New York and to go to DC, and it's amazing to see, like, what you're doing right now is actually, like, having those people to be like, okay, I could stay, not only that I could just come here and get my education, but I could also stay in Philly, and I could actually be part of the change in this city. Do you guys, like, do you also see a lot of those people, like, who are getting their PhD, colleges, attending your event, or do you just see it like an isolated folks who just don't show up to the events at all?
Well, I don't want to seem like a hypocrite, so I did come here. I did come to Philly to go to for graduate school, and at the moment it does look like I'm not going to be here too much longer. But I do feel like Philly is like my second home. Like, I know that I've built bonds here. Like, I've gained another family here. So I may not physically be here too much longer, but I know I got my brother here. Like, I know I got friends. Like, I always want to come back, and I still want to produce here too. So like, I'm yeah.
Yeah, 6ix 8ight will still be happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like he said though, one of the things that I'm originally from Philly, but coming back by moving away so much and then coming back and everything, Philly. Once you find your people, like that's the key point. Like once you find your people, you'll fall in love with the city. Like, I know so many people who probably started out at, like, a grad school or something like that, and they just like, I miss Philly. Like, they'll go other places, even like to bigger cities, to others, and they be like, yo, I miss Philly. I miss my people in Philly. I miss just going to the bar or going to somebody's house and these different events and everything. Like, it's one of those type of places that you just fall in love. It's a soulful city.
Yes, and I just, to me, like, one thing that you could love about Philly is people are just authentic here. If they don't like you, they let you know they don't like you. Yeah. If you're on the wrong side of the Philly, you know. Yeah. There's West Philly, there's North, but I just think, like, this is one city where you feel like people will tell you like it is, and I just think that's what makes Philly unique. I've been in New York, I've been in DC. I just think, like, although those places have, like, fancy places, fancy brunches, But sometimes like you question like whether someone is being real or someone is just like trying to portray this persona to really like, get your attention in a way to get some respect, or they like talking about job. But you don't get that in Philly. And I think when you go outside of Philly, you sort of like, I want to come back home. So
and it's funny that you say that, because even starting out, one of our main things that we wanted to do was, we said we didn't want VIP. We didn't want like a VIP line, no real bottle service type of situation, because a lot of times it's about the sparklers and look at me, and especially like certain VIPs that are like on a higher level, it's like, I'm over you, like, and having that type of mentality. And we just like, nah, everybody, you come as yourself, and everybody meeting on that same level. Like, no matter who you are, what you do, we're all here to have a good time and build and possibly like expand our network and meet your people, like, you know what I'm saying? So like, that's what it's about.
I got two quick questions. So the first one, what do you think, a lot of people may have tried to do the same thing you've done. What personal skill sets do you think y'all already developed to make this business so successful? The second thing I want to highlight, you both, went to school in Atlanta. That's kind of like the Black Mecca at the moment. Do you think you will be as successful if you did the same event at Atlanta?
To answer the second question first, yes. I actually started out in Atlanta. So it was, and we playing on, and then even some of the people who, came to some of our events from even up in Philly, they're asking us when are you bringing it down to Atlanta and other places. So, I feel as long as you have a good product, it will speak for itself, and you may not be able to do it always on the same level as you would in Philly, and it has to be like, you have to put more effort, and it has to be more of a grassroots type of thing, especially depending on the event. But I feel like it can happen in any other city. And the other part of that question?
What personal skill sets y'all think you have in this make you successful?
I say we pay attention to detail. It's about the details. Anticipating people's needs, their wants and their needs, and just always trying to think out the box, and we like challenging ourselves and getting better. We're always improving, and just trying to find different ways to improve and make it even better for everyone who comes out to anything, whether we produce it or we're promoting it or whatever.
By trade, I'm an engineer, so I think that helps. That's one of my strengths, and I think that helps us. Like, I'm always thinking about like what's in our arsenal and what can we pull out, and win. Like, you don't always have to use everything you got. You don't have to put it all on the table. So we don't have to exhaust all our resources on each and every event. So Nas, I look at Nas as like our account man. Like he's good with interfacing with people, and like he's ready to go all the time. He's ready, like, let's do this. I'm like I said before, I'm kind of like the no man. I'm like, how about we hold up? How about we use that for this and this for that? Hold out a couple months. Let's do this idea. So yeah, I think we're able to kind of we're able to adapt well and strategize and kind of assess situations and put things together in particular ways that speak to people.
And one of the things that he said, I had to learn that we don't always have to do everything right away. Like you said, you can like save certain things, because I'll just come up with different ideas. Like, yo, look, let's do this. Like, it's a Wednesday, it's gonna be this, and like he's like, yo, we can let's space this out.
It's gonna be a Wednesday next week too.
Let's space this out. Calm down. Like, I'm, all right, Dad. Like,
This is chime in. There's a question on the chat from Jasmine Omo. Shout out to Jasmine. She asked, you may have partly already answered this question, but she asked, what are the ways you all are creating space for the the next generation of Philly event curators?
Just having those conversations, letting them know that anything is possible. You know, it's just like I said even before, changing that narrative. You know, actually being able to give knowledge and actually maybe help them with different venues or DJs or whatever like that, or consult with different people and just being like, how can I make this better? Here's a suggestion. Not saying that whatever we say is gold, but here's certain things I'm not sure if you're thinking about, and just being able to give that knowledge and everything like that, and not necessarily be on some, charging people. Everything is not always about a financial transaction. And I think that's one of the biggest things that is with us. Like, we're very personable.
Yeah. We're very often willing to give feedback. So a lot of times people may even come to us with ideas and want us to partner, and we might I'll tell them straight up, we're not the best partner for you for that, but I will put you in contact with so and so. That meshes better. Or if someone, sometimes people just come to us with ideas. I'm an open book. I will give you my honest feedback. So yeah, and I feel my intellect's important.
And then with that, just with your journey with your adventure at the moment, is there anything y'all wish you could have done differently?
Yeah.
Looks like Jamie's pondering on that again.
I don't have any regrets. I'll say that. I don't have any regrets. Some small decisions here and there, I might have upped $5 on this ticket.
Zig, we should have had.
Yeah.
There's nothing in particular that I can just be
Yeah.
And I mean, and the thing is, we learn from everything. Like any other business, you'll fail. You know what I'm saying? Or not even really. Financially you might fail, or just as a whole, and you just have to re-up. Dust the dirt off and just keep on grinding.
It is actually 5 o'clock, so usually we get 1 hour on IG. So we might get cut off, but when we do, we'll come back. So for those people who join us today, thank you so much for being part of this conversation. We appreciate you. If you have questions and comments for Nas or Jamie, please ask away, because they are literally the cool guys in Philly. and they know all about R&B music, and so we definitely, hopefully I'll be able to join you guys. I've not been to your event, but now I'm excited to actually be part of it.
Oh, that's
I want to see you live, man. You made me just want to get the ticket. Jamie, I want to go back to one thing that you said. You talk about this idea of ownership, right? Not just our black and brown people being the consumer here. What's that shift in mindset coming from? If you could both help answer that question. Why is ownership at this point is important for you as a black business owner, as a black entrepreneur?
Nas alluded to it earlier, but sometimes we have encountered some hardships. We knocked at doors, and not even the door wasn't even slammed on us. The door, no one came to answer. Period. So it's you have a choice. Are we going to be sad and cry about it, or are you going to do something about it? And kind of going back to what you just asked about the younger generation, I want to prop that door open. The door that wasn't answered for us, I want to prop the door open for people coming behind us.
That's deep.
What was the question?
The question is this sense of ownership, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, it's something. I mean, it's personal for me. Like this is what I always wanted to do. Like as a kid, you know, like people wanted to be president and all that other stuff. I'm like, I didn't know what it was, but I was just like, I want to almost like build an empire. Like that was like my whole thing. And then once I learned what an entrepreneur was and a mogul and all that other type of stuff, that was appealing to me. And not to say that I would never work for anybody, but it's at the point where I know that I don't have to take a job that I don't like. I don't have to do like being able to have options. Again, that options, it's freeing, you know? And yeah, and the importance in that, it's like just being able to talk to other young business owners. Like right now, it's one of those type of things. I have like a lot of different friends just getting into different ventures and stuff like that, and that's exciting. Being able to sit down and talk with your friends and build and for a lot of us, you know, we didn't have a seat at the table, so we just said, you know, F it, we're gonna build our own table, and now other people are sitting at that table and we're building and we're talking about putting all this stuff together. So like eventually, I feel as though, you know, we're all building to this one point, and then we'll be able to say like, we'll be in those different positions to put other people on and to put each other on and we'll be like running different cities and everything. And like, I don't know, that's just exciting to me. And especially not just in Philly, but with the people that we graduated with and met down in the AU.
That's interesting. Do you have any questions?
I did. So I forgot.
So
I'm glad it wasn't my fault.
I always ask these questions because, you know, there is always another young person out there, whether you know it or you don't, that's watching you or that's want to be something. What will you say to your 10-year-old self based on what you know right now, and what skill set do they need in order to be successful?
Have no fear and don't overthink it.
Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by don't overthink it?
At times, like, we think about everything that can go wrong and don't think about what can really go right, and we don't actually take that leap and don't take enough chances. When I think back to different opportunities that I may have passed up or whatever, I learn from that, you know, and that's why I say like to have no fear and at times being more that yes man, you know, like yeah, I'll do this, I'll give it a try, like, and just go for it. I think like even when I was working doing that 9 to 5 thing, that was like one of the scariest things for me to actually take that leap. And then part of that fear was also, if it didn't work, me having to go back and being like, feeling like a failure. You know what I'm saying? And it took other people to kind of like get that out of me. Like, yo, first of all, you wouldn't be feeling like, not too many people actually try it. And to be able to try it and actually like, you know, be able to survive and thrive in a way, like, it's a blessing. So.
My 10-year-old self, I would probably say think for yourself. A lot of people try to give you advice, and they let you know from their perspective, from their experiences. But I myself, this person, I'm the only one that's going to have to either live with, suffer through, or gain from the consequences of whatever I choose. So not that's necessarily good or bad information, but it's like not really think for yourself. Go inside, even if you have this small inclination. Always question why. Why did I choose to do this? Why did so and so choose to do that? Like really find out the reason behind things.
That's good.
We got another question from the chat from Jasmine. She asked, with all that's happening with the pandemic, what do you see as the future of Philly nightlife? Do you think people will re-engage as part of the new normal eventually?
Yeah. So But I feel like once everybody feel like they good, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I think everybody just scared, man. And so, yeah, everybody just scared. And I feel like with this kind of like second surge, it's been a lot closer to home for a lot of people. Not to say like people necessarily died or anything, but I'm starting to hear more and more people that I know like that actually like contracted COVID. So it was just like it was kind of a wake up call. Like, oh no, it's still out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I feel as though once there's even a vaccine or somebody knows like, all right, I can take this pill and it can be a lot better or something like that, or it's, you know, I feel like people will eventually like start to come back out and do more because people do miss that, you know, that interaction with different people, you know.
Now, can I push you on that a little bit, interaction? Can you give people advice on like what do they think, if they can't go out there and socialize physically, what else can they do right now to just keep themselves going?
Just being, I would say, you know, try to engage with something or something, whether it's, you know, something that you always wanted to try. I know certain people, they, you know, something that they thought they wanted to try, like as far as a hobby, like, and now they're actually, you know, being able to do it. That's where it goes back to COVID being a gift and a curse. We were able to hit that reset button and been able to really like look at life in a different type of way. And so I think that after that, people decided to make decisions, like you said, for themselves a little bit more. And whatever that way is, like for certain people, it is going out to different, like whether it's an underground situation or different house functions or something like that. And yeah, or, you know, bike riding. I know a lot of people picked up like exercising a lot more, going into whether it's walking, running, bike riding. There's so many like bike clubs now. Like when you was like thinking about even the bike clubs, it's like you're actually like, I've never seen so many people bicycling, like black people bicycling.
I think it opens doors for of opportunity for more specialized things.
That's
you went as well, and I feel like people's platforms have also like grown as well. So, I mean, like Nas used the example of bike riding. I know like some of my friends, like, well, I'm a DJ as well, but some of my like younger DJ friends, like I've really seen their platforms expand, and they've also increased their skill sets. So I think some people have been able to step back and step up too. So that's good.
And one other thing that I feel like a lot of people ended up doing, a lot of, especially black men that I've noticed, a lot of them have went to therapy for the first time and actually tried that out. And, you know, and it's a beautiful thing. Like, you know, when I first went to therapy and everything, like I wasn't sure how that would, you know, I don't know. It's that thing with black people in therapy, especially black men. But it's like a lot of people was encouraging me, and then it was like more people would hit me up and like, yo, who did you go to, and all this and everything. And so just going through that process and hearing them go through that process, that's been you know, a good thing. Like, you know.
Go ahead.
I don't know, I just want to highlight that part a little bit. So there's this whole discussion of, you know, finding a good therapist for black people. You know, it can be a whole process because culturally, as individuals, we're very different from, you know, if you have a therapist that's white or Asian. Just the mannerisms is kind of hard to get to. So there's a whole, at least with the professionals I'm around, black professionals, they're like, that's a whole different discussion there.
I think that, and this is what I try to tell certain people, like it's one thing if you want someone who's black and you want them to understand kind of like the plight of a black person. That's cool. But also open up that search, because sometimes it's like with any type of like relationship that you have, like you have to find one that fits. And and actually when I went to therapy, I would have never imagined the therapist I ended up with, because I did have to go through a couple different ones, but it was a young little white girl, like a white woman who is just like almost barely 5 foot, you know. But at the same time, it was like, it wasn't about necessarily her knowing my plight as a black person or a black man. It was me getting through certain traumas and her helping me realize what those were and different triggers and stuff like that. But also what I would say that what was able to happen during those sessions were she was able to learn about the plight of a black man and black people and black and brown people and stuff. And so, you know, she was like, you know, when we started ending our session, she was like, you know, I learned a lot from you as well. Like, when I came into this, I wouldn't expect us having the type of exchanges that we've had. And also with therapy, it's about doing the work. Like, if they give you homework, you know, actually like doing that different type of homework and being like active, you know, in your sessions and everything.
Right. And Nas, thank you so much for being vulnerable with us. And I'm also going to be vulnerable as well, because I was one of those people, as just being an African man in general, like there's this stigma of like when you seek therapists, there's something like literally wrong with you, right? But then at the end of the day, it's just like, it is so beneficial. It's like you talk about self-work, like, and the fact that I took a moment to really work on myself and like work on like my trauma or personal experience, it has taken me to a much better place right now than I was. So, and sometimes like I just wanted to say that for those people who are out there and thinking about like, should I seek therapist or not? My advice to you, like, go for it.
Yeah.
Literally go for it. It is so helpful. But and the reason why what you said resonated with me so much on a personal level, for you guys who literally like hold events, like people hold you to certain expectations, and like they really just see you as someone who's just like, oh, he seems happy all the time. Like that seems like he's always happy. You seem like you always thinking and like so to make sure that you're okay.
That's my demeanor.
Right. But how does it feel for you to literally like come out and say like, listen, even though I'm out here trying to do things that make people happy, but I'm also doing things that make me happy. Like, can you talk to us about that? And like, why is that important for you to voice, like black men and mental health? And why is it okay for us to actually like go ahead and seek therapists? Because we do need it.
Once again, it's about changing the narrative. You know, the more conversations we have about it, the more normalized it gets. And so, yeah, I mean, and that's the biggest thing. Like, a lot of times, like, we have these different traumas that we don't even realize that we go through. You know, it was during like those first sections, they have you do that assessment, and they're like, wait, all this happened to you? Like, wait, like, and you're still here? Like, you know, and so we normalize the traumas, and then we go through our day-to-day lives and wonder why like certain things don't go the way that we want them to go. And so that was the thing that therapy helped with. And then also, even when you leave therapy, it's like you still have to work. You know, there's still parts about me that I'm learning about myself and always growing. And now it's like what therapy was able to do was clear up some of that cloudiness, and also made you look in the mirror and look at yourself and learn yourself. You know what I'm saying? And for a minute, I felt like you said, I was giving. I felt like I was giving a lot, and I didn't even know myself. And so, with therapy, I was able to get to know myself again and love myself again. Because at times we forget even how to love ourselves. You know. So it's a challenging process at times, but coming through it, getting through it, and being able to talk about it, and also have discussions with different people who's also went through it. You know, now we're able to have those discussions and having, you know, certain friends be able to hit you up and talk about certain things that they wouldn't have talked to you about before that they might have been dealing with, you know?
Do you see a connection between self-love and your career or job or what you do?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those type of things that I do. I'll just leave it at that. I do.
I know that question was directed toward Nas,
Thank
but
you.
I'll pick up. But I would say yes. My career outside of 6ix 8ight is very different, but it's also very similar. You're always trying to. I like solving problems. I like to dig in and see, okay, what's missing from this equation? What can I plug in to make it work? That's what I do in the lab. That's what we do at 6ix 8ight. Like, we put things together and make it work. And like, that's really, I enjoy that. I get gratification from saying, okay, this was broken or it could have been better. Like, I stepped in, we filled that void.
And like you said, like we saw a lot of like, and that was another thing when you talked about certain things that you learned, like doing events and stuff. It's something's going to go wrong, and how do you deal with it? How do you solve that problem? Like, you know, you can have a meltdown, or you can just try to fix it. You know what I'm saying? And how he was even talking about, you know, for an example, that person who was in line and who was upset. All right, so that was your experience there. How can we change that, you know, your experience now? Because you're going to have certain things. So it's like for us, if let's say if she was to come into the event and say something about that, voice that opinion, it's like, how can we make this better for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I make sure like you enjoyed this experience? Because I want you to have the experience that you know wanted. So.
Yeah. That's how you get people to come back.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate both of you guys. We get into the home stretch here. Literally, like, thank you so much for sharing your experience and knowledge and skill set with us. And like, to me, like, one thing I love about the show, Toby, you could also pick up after me, is not only like I love giving us an opportunity to be authentic and share things with us, but I learn so much every time I come, because whether you are the event planner, whether you are an engineer, or whether like there's still like a lot of transferable skills that that literally like makes everything connected. So like you say, like sometimes people just think of events as a place where I come in just having fun. No, like the skill set and experience and the interaction that you have with people there, you could take that same skill set and apply it to solve problems in other aspect of your life or other aspect of the work that you're doing. So it's all about connecting the dots, right? And I think my biggest takeaway is it's all about listening and listening to the people. So what you guys are doing is, I say, it's very powerful. And I encourage you to keep doing it. Let us know when is your next event. Do you guys know what your next event is?
Might have one. Might have one Friday. Looking to possibly do something actually Friday the 13th.
But if people want to, let's say for those people who are going to tune in today, they want to find out more about your event, your company, where can they get access to you guys, and where can they find out about your event?
I'd say Instagram is the easiest place to see what we have going on and to learn about us. So our Instagram handle is at 6_8. It's 6, so the number 6, IX_8, IGHT. So. And
then we also have a website, 6ix8llc.com. And you can find out more about the company, what we do, what we about, why we started, all that good stuff, you know. And
any last minute, any last, word of wisdom. Any word of wisdom?
I feel like I've been rambling all.
Before Instagram kick us out, any word?
I
feel like I've been rambling, so go ahead, Jamie.
I don't have the words of wisdom.
Toby might have.
How much time we got?
We going to it. They kick us out.
So I guess one quick question I'd like to highlight. When did you know you have this entrepreneurial spirit? Or how do you know this is the environment meant for you?
For me, I always kind of had it. I went into more house like with business on my mind. But one of the things that, like Jamie said, having this entrepreneurship type of spirit and everything, everybody doesn't understand it. And you know, when you talk about your dreams and stuff like that, it's one of those type of things that is faith. It's, until you do it, it's hard for certain people to get and see. Like for my grandma, that was like her biggest thing. Like, you sure you don't want no other? Like, you sure you don't? Like, and I'm like, Grandma, like, chill. Like, I'm not asking you for no money. I'm not, you know. And then as she started seeing me like get a little bit more successful with it and do different things, she started to understand. Like, and my pop being able to be like, look, he doing what he needs to do. Like, and they started to respect that more. And once people start seeing you living your dream, it's like it does something to you, you know. And that's what I said. Just I don't know. Go ahead.
Entrepreneurial spirit. I feel like I didn't realize it till after the fact. Because looking back now, I was like, yeah, I definitely was in my parents' yard washing cars, like hitting people up, like come through, come get your car washed. I was drawing and painting on shoes, trying to flip them. I was also I feel like we missed this part, but like one thing that's really started with 6ix 8ight is Nas and I like love for music. Like we love music. But yeah, I was that dude in high school back ages ago when people were listening to CDs still. I was like one of the first people with a CD burner. I was flipping CDs like three for $5 like in the hallways, you know. So yeah.
This is my last question. So Nas and Jimmy, you in a partnership here, and like you talk a lot about relationship. Sometimes you might have like conflicting view on how to move forward. You know, here at One to Love, I'm one of the members. There's like, you know, 3 of us. And what advice do you guys have for us in terms of like, how can, given that it takes like multiple people to make things happen, what are the best practices that you could share with us to make sure like your company continue to be successful?
Go to therapy. No, I didn't speak up earlier, but yeah, I have a regular therapist as well. But like just really being in touch with self and learning how to communicate what's going on with yourself. Like you have to be able to communicate with your partner, so you need to be able to articulate your thoughts and feelings, and also be receptive of others. So like really listening to yourself and your counterparts.
And being vulnerable in that, you know what I'm saying? One thing that we also said that like we built a relationship and like a brotherhood that when we don't want business to ever get in the way of that, you know? And being able to like listen to each other, but then at the same time know when to give each other time, you know? We bicker and fight with each other like any brotherhood, like, but at the same time we always come back. And that's the biggest thing, like not to understand what your goal is and be able to make moves and be an individual yourself. Like one of the other things that we realize is certain things he wants to do, certain things I want to do, and even though it doesn't necessarily like maybe I don't want to do it, like, but it's cool, still do your thing. Like I don't want you to lose that. He like I don't want you to lose that either. And you know, just being thoughtful with each other, being able to talk to each other, like if I have something that I need to say being vulnerable enough to be able to say it and not thinking to myself like, oh, I'm gonna look like this way or that way, or you know, it's like, nah, I'm talking to my family, I'm talking to my brother about something that's really bothering me, and having that heart-to-heart conversation. And most of the time you'll realize it's like it's not what you thought it was.
It's good. Aki, do you want to say anything? Should we?
Yeah, this looks good. I guess I want to give a shout out to Instagram.
We got more time today.
Yeah, I mean, this thing kick us off. We're going for almost 90 minutes.
Okay, that's awesome. So I think we just close out by thanking Nas and James.
Just real quickly, you mentioned music really quick. Just highlight what kind of music you like, or who's your favorite group and stuff like that.
It just depends on the day, the mood, but like we like all different types of music, and like he said, that's what connects. It's like we'll be like sending. It's like a group of friends that we'll hear some new songs and we'll just like send music to each other and just drop different type of music. And you know, even he was the first person to put me on the Future, like, you know, and Uzi actually, like, he like, yo, you know, Future my favorite rapper, like,
He from Georgia, man.
Yo, he from Georgia, but he the one who put me on.
They got them trap music out there. A kid and I one time went to Atlanta, man, and we got caught up with the trap waves.
Yeah, I love that track.
And then at some point we actually came across what's his name? Quavo, yeah, man. He was so flashy, I had to like, I had to cover my eyes. I can't see, man. He got blinks all over him, but it was dope.
Yeah,
it was dope.
And that's even like going into our events and stuff. When you talk about music, and this is just something real quick. Like we wanted our DJs to also be diverse, like in the musical selection, because it's like everybody not trying to go to the party and hear trap all night. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like just being able to switch it up and have that different type of flow, give you those like house party type vibes, you know, on a different type of level. So yeah.
I was saying, y'all on the Afrobeats wave yet, or?
I'm there now, kind of. So I've been listening to more. I wasn't on it. I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't on it before, but what's his? I can't think of the guy. What's his real name? The Engine. I know that's like his pseudonym. It's grown on me.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to Afrobeat. Like I said, it's a mood situation. Like, you know, especially if it's on like a different playlist, putting together different playlists. But from that to like a K-Tronada, like we'll, you know, do something like that, or you know, and of course R&B. Like.
Well, fellas, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for being a game changer, influencer, move maker in the city of Philadelphia. It takes a lot of heart for anybody to stay in Philly, but I do think it's rewarding.
It is.
Philly is the future. People all over the world are starting to make moves in Philly. So I'm excited to see where you guys will be in a couple of years. So, like I said, thank you for being here, and thank you for
inviting us.
We really, I just can't put in words how much we appreciate you. Let's continue to support each other as black entrepreneurs, as black business owners, because I do believe there's so much power and asset and knowledge within our community, and I just think we're all on the same page and trying to just bring that out. And like I said, change the narrative, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, we're gonna let you guys eat. So food is cold at this point.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.